This video is sponsored by Single Point Solution. Single Point is pioneer in production and distribution of electric vehicles like electric bikes, electric scooters, and three-wheelers. Single Point also provide consulting services to small F players.
Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmac Technologies and welcome to Top Brass. And today is a very fine Monday, start of the week. And with that positive note, let me also invite my friend from London, Mr. Naval Gun.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it's Monday morning. What are you going to be doing for the rest of the week, CK? Got a plan?
Well, I have a lot of activities which are official in nature. So I've got things piled up. But I think there are certain things which I would like to do, but not finding time. So in fact, things like, building some furniture, for example, or planting a tree, things like that. So it's something in the arena of DIY, which I've been planning to do, but not finding time. Or for some reason or the other, I have some excuse for not doing that.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, actually. For some reason or another, you have an excuse. You're putting something else in the way. Because if it was really important to plant a tree, if you put it down as your priority of things to do today or this week, then it will be a priority and it will stay on the list until you do it. And then when you do it and you take it off the list, you can actually celebrate something that you wanted to do and you did. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So I think there are a couple of factors which are responsible. Number one factor, which I feel is the procrastination. So, that is really where the problem is. And there are other secondary issues like resources and time. But I think the number one reason is procrastination.
You're probably right. You see, we put things in the way. Let's face it. Things don't get in the way. We deliberately put things in the way. We put things there so we look at them and we don't trip up. And we go around and avoid them. And that's procrastination too. So the simple fact of life is, if you have something that's really important to you, you'll do it. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's something to do with the family, something to do with you socially or professionally, something to do with you and your business. If you've identified that it's really important to do, you will do it. And we start the week, it's Monday. Some people actually plan the week yesterday, in their quiet time, in their relaxing time. If they've got a normal 7-day week where Sunday is a day off, day of rest, they will have just been thinking there, even watching TV with a notepad and pencil and just writing a few things down, getting themselves ready for the week. That's good planning, It makes you be prepared for the following week, because things, when you wake up Monday morning, other things happen out of your control. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But the key thing to this is, if you're putting something in the way from something that you want to do, but it isn't happening, it's no one else's issue apart from your own. As you said at the beginning, it was excuses. Well, we are really good at making excuses. And over time, because we make so many excuses, we get really good at making more excuses. So we could have a fantastic book on excuses that probably would be a world's bestseller. Here's all the reasons why I didn't. There you go. There's a title of a book. And the thing is, what we would love it to be is a lot of blank pages, a bio up the front and a lot of blank pages, 5,000 blank pages, because you didn't find a reason why you didn't want to do it. Procrastination. You mentioned procrastination. That's a fascinating one. So, what is procrastination?
Well, I think it's the English word, and it has a very clear meaning in the dictionary, which is like you have that in mind, but you don't getting yourself to do it. So I think it's like always postponing things for some excuse or the other. I think that is what the procrastination is.
Well, there's a great saying that I heard many years ago. Procrastination is the thief of time. And the thing is, you are the thief. You are stealing your own time. I mean, in our leadership programs, we call it behavioral waste. Procrastination, there's a fine line between people thinking they're doing something and procrastinating about it. And you'd be quite surprised that the thin line is almost like jumping off the end of a cliff. And when you realize actually that you're not thinking about it. And let's give people some tips here, okay? The difference between thinking and procrastinating is when you're thinking, you're always moving forward. You're always saying, what if? You're putting things in the way. It's always a progressive opportunity. When you procrastinate, you tend to do this a lot. Round and round and round in circles. You may still be moving up, but that's because you're thinking. But the procrastination is going round and round here, not growing. And it's the thief of time, because sometimes you can say, I can do this in 10 minutes, and it takes you 50. But what if it took you 10 minutes? How much? You'd have 40 minutes to go and think about something else.
In fact, you're making a lot of sense because as a human being, you are always thinking, and the procrastination is also a thought process. So it is actually spending your gray matter in actually planning your procrastination. So I think it's very well put by you. It's a thief of time. You are actually spending more time and less productive time.
It's simple, actually, but only when you realize what you're doing can you get out of it. So this excuse, putting things off, the easiest way to stop putting things off is to make a list of things that you must do. Not a nice to do, things you must do. You know, that might be putting the garbage out. You know, how many parents struggle with one of the chores that they've given their teenager of once a week, put the garbage out. And you put it out on a particular time of day because the garbage guys come a little bit later in the day. Monday morning is our day for garbage. Do I put things out at Monday morning? No, I put things out on Sunday evening. Even if it's raining, I will put things out on Sunday evening because then that's a chore done. These guys may not come at 7:30. They may come at 7:10. You know, and I'll miss them if I haven't put it out the night before. These are such simple things, you know, but like anything else, if it's important, put it on a list and do it. And if it's something that's important on a regular basis, we have this thing called practice, practice, practice. So you can practice getting really good at being stupid, if you like, or you can practice getting really good at being really good. Whatever you practice, you'll get good at. So isn't it obvious to practice the good things? So therefore, you need to go and find out what the good things are and practice those first. Again, this is all common sense. And we learned it very, very young in our life. But for some reason, we seem to forget it. You know, a lot of people that say, I'm going to enter that competition. and never do. You know, they go and say, oh, the X Factor's on. Oh, yes, that's wonderful. I'm going to enter next year. And they never do, because it's not important enough. So make it important in your life, and then you will make it happen. That's the simple message for a Monday morning. So what are you going to do for the rest of the week? Make it happen?
I will make it happen, Neville. In fact, you gave us a very good idea about writing a book on excuses. In fact, that reminds me of one comedian, a South African comedian. I don't want to mention his name, but he has written a book, and he has simply compiled the tweets of Trump. So it's like somebody else has written it, but he has just compiled it, and it's now a bestseller.
Well, he probably had a good laugh at all the tweets that were put out there. I mean, I see some really good people out on social media, and I tell them, you should put this in a book. And they say, but I've already published it. And I said, yeah, but you haven't published it together. You know, you've got like 50,000 followers, and maybe those 50,000 people would be interested in seeing it all in one place. You know, and my point to that is they're making an excuse. You know, someone's come with a suggestion to say, why don't you put it in a book? I mean, you don't have to do much, frankly, as you said. You know, some South African comedian has put all of Trump's tweets together. Well, I could do it, you know, if I was that interested.
And he has given a very interesting title to the book, which I'm not able to recall, but it's become a bestseller. But the reality of the whole situation is that the Trump has written all those tweets. He gets up at 5 a.m. in the morning, probably from the loo. He sends those tweets. And this person who's based now in US, but he is a South African origin, he has compiled it and he has written a book. It has a very catchy title. But I think the message that you are giving is find out what are the excuses. So sometimes when you sit and plan what are the excuses, you may end up compiling other people's excuses. So it's like compile a book of excuses and then publish it. It might become a bestseller.
Well, the thing is, we're all very good at excuses. So perhaps we should just go on social media and list down all the excuses. The book will be endless. There'll be variants on variants on variants on variants. And as I say, we get really good at making excuses. Some people make it a pastime. Your 14 or 15-year-old son or daughter that sits there in this COVID, lockdown arena has probably come up with every excuse under the book. Not to do things digitally, not to build relationships, not to look at their future and be responsible for their future. So, yeah, we're all good at excuses. The thing is, stop it. There's your first hour session of that psychologist that you go and see, or psychiatrist you go and see, and they turn around and say, okay, I'm going to give you a bit of advice. Stop it. It's pretty simple. For a Monday morning, stop it.
Yeah, Neville, I think it's a very good advice. I think we can start this week by stopping all the procrastination and planning our days ahead. And I'd like to thank you for giving us this tip on a Monday morning. We will catch up again tomorrow.
Pleasure. See you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.